Okay, Bhaven2000. I think my pet system will just open Sicilian, maybe open Sicilian. Don't tell me he's been murdering everyone recently. He's been on a training bot and a problem bot. Okay. If I play quietly, maybe G3. Avoid the main dragon stuff against the lower rated player. I would hope to be able to play positionally. Do I need to play against D4? Is there a problem? Bishop D2, I don't think. At the moment. Let's check. Queen E5, I don't think so. That's on a castle. That's Bishop G4. Could be dangerous. Got H3 here. Luxury of another move to stop any Bishop G4. Okay, I'll just play Knight B3 now. Clap down, A4. I'll get bind on squares. It looks kind of aesthetic. Not sure about that. I can play A5 here. The knight's actually doing something on B3, supporting A5. I'll do that, I think. Bishop E3 and Bishop E6 could be juicy, positionally juicy. Bishop E3 to B6, bit of a bind. So all at stake here. If I win this game, I might be closing in on my all-time 15-minute. I get Bishop B6 in. I'm optimistic. Mind you, there's always Knight D7. Maybe there's nothing to write about just yet. It's on H3 now. Knight A4 to B6. Is that good? Knight A4. Why not? This knight's protecting that one. I want to get the queen away from that diagonal to be able to castle. Fits the bill. So much nicer than the Sicilian dragon, which I don't know the theory of. Well, so far anyway, it looks quite pleasant. If I get Knight B6 in, it will be especially pleasant. Mind you, Bishop C4? No, Knight B6 hits D7 and C4. Bishop B3? Surely not. I can't do this anyway. Oh, there's Knight A4, Knight A5. Knight A5 of Knight B6. Oh, Bishop B6. Bishop B6 here now. Queen can go back to D7. Does it matter? Into a tempo. Alright, just G4 to be able to try and castle. Then might be D5, unfortunately. On D5 there's Knight C5. So maybe G4. D5, Knight C5. I'll get away with G4. Bit weakening. I'll go for it, I think. G4. So I'm hoping D5, Knight C5. H5, maybe G5. Right now I can castle, I think. Look forward to something like F4, Bishop C4, Rook F2. It's worth doing. Can't see a major issue. D5 on the horizon. Knight D7. Oh, it's on B2. That's protected by A4 at the moment. Right, just F5. Then give up E5. Bishop C4. Rook F2. And give up all the dark squares. Bishop E3. Maybe Bishop E3 is better. Queen doesn't seem that happy on E8. Bishop E3, I think. What about Knight B6 next? Takes, what about AB? Is that a useless pawn there? Or just Bishop B6 again? I think Knight B6. Knight B6 here. Attacks the rook. Rook C2. Dear. What about C3 and that protects B3? Blunts the bishop. C3 ticks a few boxes. Protects C2, protects the diagonal. I'll play knight, about knight D4, there's bishop C4. Again, knight B6 strikes me as a restraint on B5. So knight C6, knight C6, knight B6. Why not? Takes bishop B6, and it's difficult to evade the bishop after that. And secures A5, secures against queen D8. Okay, so what about knight D4 and get these bishops off? This knight's not doing much now, doesn't have to protect A5. So knight D4 or F5. F5 again, I think it's fatally weak in this E5 square. Alright, F6. Okay. Now, last time I played F6, I lost a computer tactic, knight takes D6. Computer-like tactic, anyway. What about knight D4 here? Isn't that good, just to get rid of the knight on C6 now? Get the bishop to, or maybe even CD. I think bishop D4, bishop moves. Then the right time for F5 to cramp in the bishop, because there's no E5 usage. Or even here, I don't know about knight E5 anymore. What about just knight takes C6 first? If rook C6 F5. Otherwise F5 knight E5 is a huge knight. Just take that knight off F5. There's no exchange sack just yet. Just hem in that bishop. Oh, why do you bishop H6? F5 here, knight E5. Is that really killer? I've got a huge knight on D4. That might be worth doing. I'm going to do it. F5. I'm going to give him E5. It's a concession. Okay. Maybe I want to just try and weaken the king somehow. Knight E5. H4, H5 is G5. G5 just takes, there's nothing, is there? Knight E6 is hopeless. Probably this is a bad idea. Knight E5 does seem okay. In fact, there's Knight C4 after that. Or Bishop C4. F takes, actually. Knight E5, F takes. Try and weaken the king. If Bishop G6, Knight F5, if HG, maybe G5 there, takes. Nothing much. That just Knight F3, there's Knight C4, that's on B2 as well. Oh dear. This is a problem position. What have I done? I could have just taken on C6. That was silly, wasn't it? Trying to just hem in this bishop. I don't know. what was I thinking here? Okay, what about knight f3 and then knight c4, bishop d4? I've got to protect this one. Rook f2, knight c4. Oh dear. Oh, I'll play rook f2 anyway. Leave that bishop to go. I'll play knight f3 and bishop d4 if given the chance. The knight is kind of good on d4 anyway. The bishop is kind of hemmed in, except bishop h6. H4 g5. If bishop h6, queen e1. That was knight d3. Oh, it gets worse. Okay, what about rook d2 here? Then knight f3, then bishop h6. I could sack the exchange there. Oh dear. Oh, offer the exchange up. Bishop h6. I'll just let the rook go. Try and weaken some dark squares. Play knight f3 maybe. Takes. Knight f3 here. Or bishop f1. Oh, that's just taking for a moment. Take this. Bishop f5, knight f5. Hg. It's just rock solid, isn't it? Back to position. Ah, not so now. Okay. I like that. Giving me f5 for the knight. Okay. Reason to be cheerful. So rook e2. Keeping hold of b2 or queen b3. Or knight g7. Knight g7. Rook e2. I think rook d3, knight b2, there's queen b3. Play rook d3 for a moment. Not meant as a trap, I just want to keep the rook on. Oh dear, oh dear. I was knight c4, it's not a trap anyway. But knight e3, looks as though that's a nasty pin anyway. Or just indeed rook d4. Knight e3, d5. Alright, so I'll play rook d4 here. So d5 maybe takes. Oh dear, what is going on here? I'm in big trouble. If I play queen d1. What's happening here? Losing another pawn. c3 maybe. What about g... oh dear, oh dear. What was his run again? Training bots. There's no particularly. There's a few losses down there on the 15 minute. Okay. Oh dear. C3's dropping. Horrible. So how do I try and fight back here? Queen d2 and g5 maybe. If I get to play g5, g takes, bishop f6, e5 for rook g4, king h8, queen h6. So g5, e5, rook g4. Queen c8, g5, rook c2, queen f4. So G5 takes, actually, that's killing. So G5 must be coming next. Does it have any chance here? G5? So I'm missing a major tactical idea. Why rook B3 anyway? Just to pick up B6? King H1, rook G1 in preparation for G takes. Bishop takes, Queen H, Bishop D4, Rook G7. No, this bishop has to be gotten out of the way as well. So King H1, Rook G1, Bishop F3, G takes F. What about that? Plan G4, crude, often effective. 2 pawns down. And time to take here before FG, or no rush. I can wait for I can bring the king out before queen protects it. Maybe that's good if I just take that now. So I take on D6, can I just get a pawn back? Queen E5 with huge queen. But there's rook F1. Oh, that's too tempting. It's just safer to play King H1, rook G1. What else is on the cards? I don't want to give the Queen E5 particularly, so I think King H1 for a moment. Maybe even King H2 just to protect H. Okay, so Rook G1 to build up the forces without giving the Queen E5. Actually, I think the King would have been better on H1. Oh dear. What was I thinking now? Because now G takes, E takes, there's always a problem with Queen E5. So Rook G1, what about Queen F4 takes Queen E5 again. Rook F1, Queen F4 takes, okay, Rook F1, Queen B2, Queen, okay, oh dear, okay, I think I should take, even though there's Queen E5 on the cards. Right, okay, I'm in trouble, it's official. Queen E5 wins the rook, oh dear, okay, end of game. That's a shame. Oh well, seems every time I get a high rating I get knocked down by 1600. Horribly. Ah, that was just terrible. King H2. He plays Queen B5 of all things. Oh dear, oh dear. Yep, no mercy here. Rook up. Still taking his time. Well, there's Bishop C4 on the cards. Hang on. Bishop C4. Is he going to spot that? 4 minutes ago. Bishop C4. Tying down a rook. Not particularly harmful here. Keep it in reserve. It's rook F8. Maybe I should have used it there. king f5 here. Try and get king f6 in. Oh. Oh dear, oh dear. And down the mountain it goes. Forget about rating, I think. So that was horrible. Thought I had some sort of control over the position, good position, and I think I blew it with f5. It's starting to go downhill badly. So that was actually possible, like b2. Didn't see that. Losing pawns. King h1, bad mistake. Maybe. So that seems to get to e5 anyway, very quickly. And I'm just blown to bits. I'm losing a rook there. Okay, and another one. Comments or questions on YouTube. Thanks very much. Anyway, it was a good morning up till then. Thanks very much.